Sometimes a game comes at a most fortuitous time, and that was definitely the case for me with regards to the last game I finished, Space Tale: Every Journey Leads Home. I've been exploring in my own time the somewhat sad history of animals sent to space, and then I was offered a code for a game where a dog sent to space can come back. Give me that nice catharsis. It also was very appropriate that after finishing Stray a few months ago, I should play a game with a dog main character as well. Space Tale: Every Journey Leads Home is a 2.5D adventure platforming game developed by Polish studios Enjoy Studio SA and Long Term Games SA, who also handled the publishing of the game alongside Red Deer Games. The game released on pretty much every platform available: PC, Switch, Xbox One, Xbox Series, PS4, PS5, and Linux on November 3rd, 2022. The reviews thus far have been minimal, but have tended to be positive. The game, as of writing this, has only 10 reviews on Steam and doesn't even qualify for Metacritic due to a lack of reviews from critics. That's where I come in then, to give you what others have yet to provide. So let's talk about Space Tale and our main doggy, Bee. Bee is a stray dog at the beginning of the game, captured and trained at a facility to prepare her for a journey to space. While she is there though, she connects with a young human boy who gives her a stuffed bear before her flight. That boy is who Bee is determined to get back to after crash landing on a planet, but her journey will twist and turn before she gets the chance to return to Earth. Ultimately though, every journey does lead home. As I mentioned before, the premise of the game certainly hit for me, and the developers were thinking the same thing as they talked about honoring our space pioneer predecessor animals like Laika, Felicite, Enos, and Ham. The game had several effective storytelling moments based on that emotional core, but it was undercut at times by the reliance on narration. I truly think this game would have been better suited by having more non-verbal communication of ideas. Plenty of games, including ones this game is clearly inspired by, have used nonverbal communication to highlight moments of tension and emotional highs and lows. It does appear though that this choice may have been made for budgetary reasons, since the narration parts tended to describe some more complicated activity than may have been feasible for the studio to animate. The narration was overall alright, but I think took far too much time telling us things that would have been better off shown if possible. Next up is the gameplay, and pretty much from the moment I started the game, I saw a lot of things with gameplay, controls, UI, UX, etc. that reminded me of one particular game: Ori and the Blind Forest. As Bee, you wander around levels split between different worlds or planets. The worlds each have themes that dictate what you might find in each area for obstacles, creatures, and puzzles. The beginning of the level usually consisted of more platforming challenges and navigating around enemies. As you progress though, you'd encounter more puzzle aspects, sometimes literal puzzles that you would need to solve, and sometimes navigating around and communicating with creatures. As you go around as well, you can collect health and shield items that, once you've accumulated enough, gives you more health or shielding, which you will very much need. While I have some nitpicks, I think overall the game controlled really well. The design of each level was purposeful and contained varied challenges across my playthrough to keep me entertained. Bee's abilities by herself are rather limited, as she is a dog. She can jump, she can pick up things with her mouth, she can bark, and she can do regular dog things to communicate. There are though 3 distinct senses used in each level to help overcome the challenge: sight, hearing, and smell. Each sense will give you more information about what is going on around you and gives Bee a unique aspect that most characters in other games don't have. This isn't the super senses you get in some AAA action games. These are justified in-game because you're a dog. Okay, at least the hearing and smell. The sight is more game mechanic-y. This will take you through some basic levels, but the game also gives you 2 companions over the course of the game: Bobby, the robotic drone, and Rose, the celestial entity that resembles a comet. Each companion helps give Bee some extra abilities and new mechanics for you to play with. When Rose is with you, Bee gains the ability to double jump, use telekinesis, and shoot Rose out to destroy obstacles or enemies. When Bobby is with Bee, she gains 2 main abilities: a hack of anything with an AI, which includes several enemies, and an invisibility protocol when Bee is crouching. She does lose invisibility when moving though. Beyond that, the other main mechanic of the game is communicating with various creatures, using various dog behaviors including, but not limited to, howling, rolling, giving a paw, and wagging your tail. You can try each of these to get certain reactions. Sometimes you need to anger them so they throw an item you need, or break down an obstacle trying to get at you. Sometimes you need to please them so they let you into their clubhouse. I like the system and the usage of the unique aspects of a dog protagonist. It wasn't the deepest system or anything, but it added something distinct to the game to help it stand out among other platform adventure games. A fair amount of these abilities are ones I'd expect in a Metroidvania-style game, hence why I see Ori as a strong inspiration, but the level progression doesn't follow that genre's tendencies. There are some minor instances where you have an objective and can take multiple pathways to complete it, but for the most part the game is quite linear. Not that there's anything wrong with that, especially for a short but sweet game like this one. Next up is the presentation. The visuals look nice with distinct environments and a good variety of designs for Bee, Rose, Bobby, and all the others they meet along the way. Due to the static nature of a lot of the important cutscenes, there's not a lot I can talk about with regards to how they move, but this is a competently told and visually pleasing game. The game does give a warning for epilepsy before you even start the game, and while I didn't have any issues with that, there was one puzzle that actually made me feel nauseous while completing. For the music, I think the music ended up being unremarkable in either a really good or bad way. I was concentrating on other things and immersed in the game, and thinking back on it, I couldn't tell you what music played in what moments. Doesn't mean anything bad, but it certainly didn't leave a strong impression on me. The UI reminded me strongly of Ori, with your meters on the bottom and the way they usually show you when you're using things like Rose's shot or the various senses. The visual language of the game is pretty consistent when it comes to Bee and her abilities. The level design language and its efforts to guide you along does slip up at times. I had a couple times where I was stumped because the way forward wasn't clear. Not a deal breaker, but something that you'll have to consider. The UX was also pretty smooth, with the controls working fine once you've adjusted to them, and the one thing I noticed that seemed off was in the abrupt transitions between going from one area to another. It was noticeable enough to break my immersion, but not overall impact my playthrough. This game doesn't wow you in any particular area for presentation, but it avoids any glaring weaknesses as well. Space Tale Every Journey Leads Home is a pretty fun game with a variety of puzzles and platforming to navigate through, centered around a strong emotional story. The game wants to tell the story of Bee, and that's exactly what they do, not just via the text, but with the unique skills available to her as a dog. Dog lovers are certainly recommended to help get this good girl home, and anyone else who enjoys these types of games, I recommend taking the 4 to 8 hours it takes to beat the game to give it a try. Thank you to Long Term Games for the review code. If you enjoyed my video, please give it a like and let me know what your impressions are on the game in the comments. Subscribe to keep up with the channel and what's shaping up to be a heavily indie game focused end of the year, and I hope to see you in the next video. Have a great day and happy gaming.